All right, City Hall this week keeps the thread going that we started in the last hour by speaking to the opposition, raising some concerns over what's happening in Montreal's metro. Alain Vaillancourt is the head of public security on the executive committee in the city of Montreal, and he's now in studio. Hi, Alain. Thanks for coming in to the show today.
My pleasure, Les.
Before I get your take, I want you to listen to Julien Ratel from Ensemble Montréal. You know him?
I did. I heard him.
You heard him. Okay, good guy, right? Usually he's a good guy, right?
Yeah.
So we spoke to him about the issue of safety in the metro. I want you to listen to what he said, some of what he had to say about your plan.
Well, it's clearly not enough. What has been announced yesterday by the City of Montreal is that basically they are not doing any additional hire. They are moving some officers around in some specific stations. So there might be more critical issues in those specific stations, but I mean, so the insecurity feeling is not only in those 10 specific subway stations that we see in Montreal. So that's why we're asking not only to move around some officers, but to increase the numbers, as you were saying in the introduction, up to 230 in terms of the peace officers. And that's also something that is being asked by the Fraternité des Constables et Agents de la Paix de la STM, which is basically the constable union that we have in the STM network.
So allegation there, I mean, is like you're rearranging the chairs, but you're not doing enough. What's your response?
Okay, I'm going to be really brief and concise. I think that's what people want to hear. I represent the SPVM. He's talking about STM employees. I'll talk first about the SPVM and what we're doing. You know, I heard your segment, you mentioned there was 3 categories of people. You got the homelessness, drug use, and crime. Yeah. If I tackle the crime aspect, we've added police officers in we have now 100 police officers. We've also added 16 police stations that respond to the emergency calls. So you're talking over 40 police officers added to the emergency calls. What that does is that we respond quicker to emergencies. It liberates the 100 police officers in the metros to actually investigate, arrest people who are using large quantities and the drug dealing, because that's an issue in a confined space in the metro. So the arrests have gone up. So as far as the crime aspect, we've been able to better tackle that. Oh, yeah, so on the contrary, the actual resources have increased.
I just want to say, because I think what I'd said was homelessness, mental illness, and drugs. Those are the 3
that's
things.
Right. So that's the drug aspect. And I think you're right. It's an important aspect to tackle in the metro for if you want to feel safe. The homelessness, we have EMIS, and Julien mentioned that. And I want to correct what he said. EMIS is actually in the metro. They're there also at night.
Okay.
We also
do they do weekends?
They don't do weekends yet, but we're working on that. Yep. They also, on the outside of the metro, they're there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day around the metros.
Okay.
So that's for the mental health. As far as we also have a mixed team that we've increased in the SPVM, police officer with social worker, that will tackle the cases of people with mental health that are recurrent. The ones that aren't violent, but just have issues that are very, they bother people when you see them in the metro. And it's recurrent. So they work on trying to get these people services. You know, what they don't mention in the opposition is that the long-term solution is social services and health services for these people. They don't have a fixed address. So what do? They go in the metro to do what they need to do. Need to find housing, social services, mental health issues. We need to have services 24 hours a day outside the metro so they can go consume in a safe environment and have some housing and direct it to social services. The police officers need to do what the police do best, and that's tackle crime. And if anything, we have a model in the metro that's allowing us to do that, which would be nice to have actually outside the metro. Because outside the metro, you know, I patrolled with a station next to your 21 a couple weeks ago. On a 6-hour shift, we had uniquely people with drug use, homelessness, mental health. On a 6-hour shift.
That's it.
That was it. So, you know, police officers need to get back to what they're good at. I'm not saying they're not good at, but what they're trained and want to do. And we need to find services for these people. But when they get a 911 call, they respond. And we have some of the best police officers around to deal with that. But we need more services for all these people.
So last Thursday, right, those 2 stories that came the same night, right? 35-year-old man getting attacked by 4 teenagers, right? Arrests, I think it was 13, 15, like the ages were
13 to 17, there was 5 arrests.
5 arrests. Yeah, 5. That's right, 5 arrests now. So, and then we have a female rider that random attack punched in the face, right? Where's that coming from? Like, I don't even know if it fits in those 3 columns we just referenced, right?
The thing is, you mentioned the 3 categories. They're not uniquely those 3 categories. They mix and match the 3 categories. So you have a drug user who is dealing, who is also has mental health issues. Yeah. So you have a whole combination of things. What you see in the metro is what we're seeing on the streets in Montreal, except in a confined space that has different consequences. A user on the metro doesn't have the same consequences as a user in the back alley somewhere. There's danger to himself. And one of the things that's happening is that the arrests that we're doing for drug users, which is not something that anyone wants to do.
Why not? Wait, hold on. Why not?
Well, in the sense that what I'm saying is that
if I break the law, I get arrested.
I agree with you.
A drug user should get arrested.
And that's what we're doing in the metro. Let me finish. What I'm saying is that person, it's some of the only way that they can get actual social services. So we arrest them, they go to the prosecutor, and then there's programs for them to get into, if it helps them, into services. Well, we should be providing those services before they get arrested, right?
So just one last question, because I got a minute left here. And there's a pilot project that was put into place where they're putting, here's boxes so you can put your needles away, right? To me, that sends the message, come to the metro, use drugs. That's the message I think it sends to people. When you make it more welcoming and inviting, you provide resources.
Yeah.
So where do you stand on that?
My answer to that would be, whether you have the boxes or not, they're in the metro using. Why are they in the metro using? They don't have housing. They don't have a fixed address. If we want to do something, I'm not saying that we want to use, but if we wanted to do something, we do it in the privacy of our home. It's safe. We're not on the street. And that's most people. But those that don't have a fixed address, what do? They want to find a safe place. For them, the metro is actually a safe place, believe it or not, and makes it unsafer for everyone else. So
my worry is,
it's happening anyways.
No, just my worry is with that attitude, we're putting the drug user's rights ahead of the nurse that's just done the 12-hour shift and just wants to be safe on the metro.
Well, I think we're just tackling reality. The people are there anyways. We need to fight the crime, and that's what I explained out what we're doing. We need to find services for them, for those that need the services. And unfortunately, that's not the city's fault, the city's issue, but we work on that with the provincial government. And as far as the boxes for syringes, it's been shown that if you have those around, parks and et cetera, that you'll find less used needles on the ground. That's what the studies show. It doesn't encourage drug use in the area. Really, it doesn't. It reflects the reality. What we need to do is long-term, the long-term solution is we need services for these people.
I want to check. Let's keep the conversation going, and especially want to talk about that last point that we just talked about. Alain, listen, got to leave it there. I want to thank you very much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Elias.
Alain Vaillancourt is head of public security on the executive committee of the City of Montreal.